idea of what it is, what you're going to gain from it. When you perform it, what are you doing? If you take a kata and you look at it from a bunkai aspect, each move that you perform is a bunkai movement, protective movement, or whatever you do. If you get lost in the fact that it's a pattern and you're running through that pattern, you've lost the effect of the kata. Okay. Most katas, there's only a few places where ki is involved. Ki is involved in every movement. It's just not kodadama. It's not a verbal. It's an internal ki. Almost like the sun chin as you're, doing your karate practice. Your body tightens, your movements tighten. If you just turn and you take the thumb or whatever and you bring it here, and maybe it's a little bit low or it's a little bit high, it's not effective. If it's not effective, then why practice? We practice, but we have to practice correctly. If we practice just to say, oh, I did this kata 10 times, I know it now, well, do we really ever know it? It's forever changing. The whole idea of this martial training is not an end result. It's the pathway that you're on, the things that you learn on that pathway, and the things that continue. Okay? I always say it's like a sponge. You take a sponge and you put it in a glass of water, and it absorbs the water. Okay? It's the learning process that you're doing. If you take that sponge and you throw it in the ocean, it's not going to absorb the whole ocean. It's only going to absorb what it can. So each training that you go to, make sure you learn one thing. And the next training, learn something else, something else. Don't try to do it all at once. Don't be in a hurry. You're not here for Shihan Cruz. You're not here for anyone but yourself. You're the one that's devoted to this training. So as you're doing your kata, sometimes speed covers up mistakes. Sometimes Sensei might say, let's do it at half speed. And then he'll say, do it full speed. And now everybody's flying, trying to get through it, and the speed's covering up the mistakes. They've left vulnerability. They left opening. So just something to think about while you're doing your kata. Also, if you notice Sensei, he's a master of many things, and one of the few people that when he does Shorin and he does Shotokan, they look completely different. Very difficult to do. Okay? And as Abu Sensei and I were just talking, Funakoshi used a little bit deeper, a little bit wider, a little bit longer stances than he did in Okinawa when he went to Japan. And mainly it was for exercise purposes, for strength, for developing the hips, developing the quads, developing things. As people got tired, they got sore, they said, oh, I'm learning something, I'm doing something. Don't worry about getting so deep in Kobuda. More upright posture, good shisei, good posture, over the hips. As you move, keep the weight over the hips. Think of your center line. Something that's very important is what we call akabo. Akabo is when the elbows come away from the body. It weakens the strike, it slows down the movements of the blocks and so on. So if your hand is here and you're going to punch, why would the first motion you see be here as this punch comes? It wouldn't. Your hands are here, the punch will come straight from there on your center line. So when we talk about center line, we're not talking so much about the opponent, we're talking about ourselves. We keep our work and we protect our center line as we move, okay? Just some things, I'm just killing a little bit of time, well, since they finishes all this paperwork here. But food for thought, think about it.
Let's do this.
Right.
So much. Thank you so much, Sensei. Okay,